Kylo Ren going to have an apprentice in episode 9? We haven't really thought about it much, but we're going to discuss it. Welcome back to the Resistance broadcast, everybody. My name's John Hoey. Thank you so much for joining us today, being a part of the Resistance. The base is open. Come on in. We're talking Star Wars for the next hour. We have the Will of the Force is back this week. 5 great topics. And like I said, we have an awesome discussion on whether or not we think, after a certain time jump that we're assuming is going to happen between episodes 8 and 9, will Kylo Ren have taken on an apprentice? We'll find out what we all think in a little bit. But first, let's say hi. It's the crew. It's James Bainey. It's Lacey Gillerin. What's going on, guys?
You know what's going on? We're doing the discussion, will Kylo Ren have an apprentice in episode 9? And, you know, I'm not one to point fingers, but we were supposed to have a Star Wars war this week, and someone chickened out. And
it wasn't me.
I mean, it was planned. We knew what we were doing, and then I got the show notes, and I said, "Hey, what's up with this? Why are we doing the Star Wars war?" And he said, "Oh, I don't feel like doing that because
you know what?
I would win anyway." And I said, "All right, you're afraid. You're afraid. You're afraid to tackle this. You're afraid to lose."
I didn't want to be like this today, and I'm showing my angry face Chewy Mighty mug. I wanted to be like,
happy Chewy.
Happy Chewy. So happy thoughts, happy beeps, happy will Kylo Ren have an apprentice discussion.
Yeah.
We will get to that Star Wars war, and it's not even a Star Wars war. It's going to be a Star Wars annihilation of you and your false thoughts.
Natalie Portman will be in it?
Annihilation, I get it. Lacey,
Yes.
have you seen the movie Annihilation? And more importantly, are you ready for this discussion? I know you are.
No, I haven't seen that movie, and I never thought I would see the day where John would open up an episode talking about Kylo Ren. Guys, we have reached such a momentous occasion. Let's just let it all sink in. Let's all just live in this moment.
Let's kick it down a notch. This is not the pinnacle of Star Wars here.
Nobody was a bigger Kylo Ren fan in this podcast than me, before anyone even knew who Lacey Gillerin was. In the
I can't even argue that. It's true. It's true.
No,
take it back, folks. No. We are having a Star Wars war tonight.
Apparently we are. No, but before we do get into that discussion, and of course, guys, we do have your Resistance transmissions coming up later to end the show. Those are so fun. But first, it is, I think, my favorite segment of late anyway. It is the Will of the Force. James Bainey, what is the Force willing this week?
The Force is willing Chirrut to do the intro for us.
I fear nothing, for all this, as the Force wills it.
Thank you for that clip. I don't even think he did it for us. I think he just sent us in the take from the movie. Anyway, all right, let's get to Will of the Force this week. Lucasfilm recently confirmed Forces of Destiny is no longer in production. Are you sad? Nope, that's not the question. Will you be disappointed if the series doesn't return or never comes back? John, I'm jumping to you first. You loved Forces of Destiny. Like, it was like better than Empire, better than the sequel trilogy as a whole so far. So this possibly never coming back means you're off the podcast. We're going to find a new host, right?
Yeah, this is my final episode. I'm going to start backpacking across the country, trying to get petitions signed to get this show back on the YouTube.
Makes sense.
You guys are so mean.
It's a good use of your time.
No, I mean, I think the episode that will live on forever for me is the one where they completely undermined everything Chewie ever did in the original trilogy and had him hide behind Princess Leia on Hoth because he was a coward. Bye, Forces of Destiny. I am glad that you were good for... I'm glad you were good for kids. You were a fun little show. You'll never be canon to me, but no, I will not be disappointed if it doesn't come back. No offense.
Lacey,
an opinion, but that's all.
You obviously are disappointed because Kylo Ren never got to make his appearance.
He didn't.
In Forces of Destiny. They made the toy. This was her off camera.
It's
but
behind
they made the toy.
Is it?
Yeah.
So
it's down here. You
Kylo.
can't. It's right here. Here's Kylo.
She has it, yeah.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
That would have been your favorite episode. What was your favorite episode of Forces of Destiny?
It would have been What's my favorite one? Oh, I'm thinking back
because
to
that one would have been, but they never made it because nobody cared about Kylo
So to be
Ren.
honest, there were a couple episodes that were kind of dumb. Like the Rey fighting the Tito's, I thought was just kind of dumb. And what was my favorite one? Probably the one where Leia gets the Boosh outfit from Maz.
Oh, the Boosh outfit. Okay, I was gonna say the Return of the Jedi like Ewok tribal outfit. But
no. The one where
I know.
she's like
That's what
fighting.
I thought you were gonna say. But
Yeah.
yeah, so she actually has gotten in Forces of Destiny. They've explained her getting multiple outfits. From the original trilogy.
Because there are multiple versions. So there's a couple dolls. There's the one of her with R2, and then there's one, or is that? Yeah, whatever.
Well, they have Hoth Leia
yeah.
as a toy, and then they have the Return of the Jedi. Like,
but this is Will of the Force, so
Will.
Will I be
you be
disappointed?
disappointed
Yes,
if they-
because I want the
yes.
Kylo episode. I know it exists. So just release it already, you cowards.
release the Snyder cut of Forces of Destiny, you cowards.
Well, speaking of
my
companies
life.
being cowards, in the aftermath,
I don't know where this is going.
no pun intended, of Chuck Wendig's firing, will Disney stress employees and independently contracted talent maintain a certain standard of conduct and responsibility on social media while working for the company?
That already exists.
Yeah, so
Disney
Lacey
already has a code of conduct. It already exists.
is already answering the question. So
Sorry.
Will okay?
I didn't know if you
it
guys
does
knew that. They
exist.
already have one.
Okay, but then clearly, there are some people that are kind of getting close to writing the line on this. So will you say, will Disney stress, will they emphasize the already existing code of conduct in the future?
Who are you asking?
Lacey.
So you're saying that it already exists for full-time employees. You're saying for talent and people that are not necessarily full-time employees, they're more like vendors or contractors, should they have to abide by these rules?
Well, employees and independently contracted talent.
Okay. I think this comes down to something of, one, I'm totally against censorship. I believe that everybody's allowed to say whatever they want as long as they're not hurting anybody or harassing anyone. But at the same time, I think there needs to be a level of responsibility of people in professional roles or roles with a good audience and following. And this isn't directed at Chuck. I'm just saying in general speaking, that if you have a position of power in the sense of you have a following and you're an influencer, you have a responsibility to those people that follow you and that could follow you, whether it be a little kid or an adult, to say what's appropriate.
Right.
Whether you want to swear like crazy, you can, whatever. But you still should know, when working for a company like Disney that's wholesome and family oriented, there are things that you just can't say, whether you want to say them or not. And that's just basic business, guys. That has nothing to do with censorship. So do I think they're going to keep doing this? Yes. I don't think this is going to change.
Yeah, I don't know. This stuff gets real dicey when we're talking about, politics and stuff like that. I guess.
Sure.
I guess my thought
I was
on some
saying
of these...
just like bad language, because I know one of the comments Chuck had said was that he said he got in trouble for swearing a lot and, potty talk or poopy talk or whatever he had said. But my thing is like, okay, but what about that 10-year-old kid that reads your books, that loves Star Wars and follows you and looks up to you and sees you acting like this? They're going to take it the wrong way. And that's not to say that that's not their own parents' responsibility to monitor their online activity, but you still play a small part and you have to take that responsibility on, whether you want to or not, when you're in the spotlight. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Do I think he should have been fired? No, probably not, but...
Yeah, so this stuff gets really tricky, because if you should be allowed to say whatever you think, then people should be allowed to say with no repercussion racist comments if they have them. Like if that's
I
really
said without hurting anyone.
I know,
or
but,
harassing.
Well, then somebody could be hurt by anything anybody says.
Yeah, but the actual
anyway.
freedom of speech doesn't include speech like that.
I mean, yeah, as long as it doesn't infringe on somebody else's rights. But what if you, I don't know, like, what if you really think that's the way that we need to grow as a society? Like, you're actually literally giving your political views, and those political views are racist because you think that, you know, these things or sexist because you believe these biblical things or something, you know what I mean? Like, I think that when it comes to like what you can say publicly is part of a bigger manipulation of politics as well. So I don't think it's a problem with what people are saying as far as the content. It's like, what political side of an argument does that content fall on? And that's a no-no. So that's where that stuff gets really tricky to me. And so I think, will Disney stress employees to follow a certain code of conduct? No, I don't. But I think that code of conduct falls on the, like, I don't know, like, don't say anything anti-Disney. Like, does that kind of make sense?
Sure.
Like, you're allowed to not like Disney. That's not the problem. But if you work for Disney and you say you don't like Disney, then that becomes a problem. And it doesn't have anything to do with like bad words or racism or sexism or anything like that. So I think, like, as long as you're following the, like, just be cool with what Disney's doing, then they really don't care what you're saying. I don't know. That's kind of just my opinion on it. So John, what do you think? What, you know, will they start stressing or putting a foot down? I mean, this ties into the James Gunn stuff as well too. You know what I mean?
They will.
Disney has set a precedent by firing and sticking to the firing of James Gunn. So
they will, because you're in an industry where there are only a certain amount of jobs, and there's a lot of talented people out there. And if you become a headache, we will get rid of you, is that mentality. And they have every right to have that, as that they're protecting their brand. As long as they make it clear to you, like, hey, listen, you need to stop doing this. Like, you can't be saying this type of stuff to our consumers, and you're getting out of line. And if you just keep bucking that and saying, like, well, I'm going to say what I want because I'm, you know, free person, then you can go work somewhere else, right? So I think they will. I think that's just common sense to me. But we really spent a lot of time on that, so we got to get cruising here.
Yeah.
All right. The next question is, we're going to move back to the fun stuff. The Phantom Menace will likely have a 20th anniversary panel at Star Wars Celebration in 2019. So since he attends most events, we can assume that Ray Park will probably be there. But will any of these people make an appearance? Liam Neeson, Samuel L. Jackson, Ewan McGregor, Ahmed Best, or Natalie Portman? John, I'm going right back to you on this one. Of those five, who do you think is the most likely to show up, and will any of them show up, or will all of them show up?
So I'll just run down yes and no real quick. Liam Neeson, yes. Samuel L. Jackson, yes. Ewan McGregor, yes. Ahmed Best, definitely. Natalie Portman, no.
Yeah, I'm with you, except for Liam Neeson. I think Liam Neeson would not come as well. So I think,
dude, that dude's doing like C action movies now. He's coming back.
He's doing like Taken 47.
Taken 47. Like Train Colliding 6, starring Liam Neeson. Like, he's coming back for Celebration.
So, I would say everybody's coming back. They're all coming back, but they
Natalie?
won't.
You think Natalie Portman?
Absolutely.
Wow.
You know why?
Okay.
Because she did that skit in SNL where she dressed up as Amidala.
Could
and she
be.
posted on Instagram
but she
saying,
didn't
bow
show
down
up
to
at
the
the
queen.
40th, and Hayden did.
Yeah, but she was working on something at the time. It's all about scheduling. Whereas
I bet
this
it was
is
Annihilation.
and this was a big thing, and that's the movie just about her. Whereas 40th, they had Harrison there. They had all these other people there. I'm sure they picked and chose who went.
I think it'd be great if she did. I'd be surprised if she is.
I think she's going to be the surprise guest.
Cool.
All
Samuel L. Jackson does whatever Disney asks him to do.
And Ahmed Best gets a standing ovation, obviously.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah. The only one that doesn't make sense to me is, you know, Ewan McGregor showing up. It's not like they're going to announce a movie of his or anything. All right, so the next one is Will, if you haven't picked up on it, it's will the Force. All the questions are will Rose and Finn be in a romantic relationship in episode 9? Episode 9. I would say maybe in 11, not in 10, but in 9, I'm going to go with no. I'm going to say they're going to explain it off. They're going to say, hey, the heat of the moment, sometimes we like kissing people. So I think they're just going to kind of explain it off. That wasn't love. It could have been love. I don't know. Whatever.
Okay.
Well, then what do you think, John? Will Rose and Finn be in a romantic relationship?
No, because I think Finn's got too much to do.
You don't love love, John.
I don't. I hate love. I hate you. I hate everybody. I'm kidding. I think we already kind of see that Finn's going to be hanging with Chewie and Poe, so you got to wonder where that time is going to be to build that relationship like Han and Leia did in Empire. I don't know if that's going to exist. And maybe Rose is going to be more important doing other stuff. So I don't think they're going to explore that angle any further. They may even joke about it like, oh my God, I can't believe I kissed you, Finn. Like, she may just like be like, oh, ah.
Yeah, they start off the movie like not wanting to go in the same room as each other.
Yeah, Rose is like, oh, that was a mistake.
Yeah. All right. Lacey, what do you think? They're going to be hot and heavy in 9?
No, I don't think they're the romantic relationship in this series, and I think people need to kind of let that one go.
Oh, here we go. 6 degrees.
I didn't say anything. I just said they weren't.
She didn't say anything.
I didn't say anything.
She said it with her tone. I don't know.
I did not. No. I just said they were not the romantic relationship. I think Finn will be with Poe for the majority of episode 9, and that's
the romantic relationship? I'm just kidding. Okay.
Not necessarily. I just think they have a really good relationship, and we haven't seen that explored yet in the way that we wanted to see it in the first movie, in Force Awakens. So I'm excited to see that friendship in the spotlight, and I don't know where Rose is going to fit in a 9. I can't even tell you, because Rey's going to go off and try to find Kylo or whatever, or figure out her past. So I don't know where that puts Rose. I couldn't even tell you. It could be a small
role.
Yeah,
I couldn't even tell you. But
same place
I don't think
Maz
they're
going
to be romantic.
Last Jedi, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be romantic.
All right, so let's move on then. As a brief warm up.
Oh, prediction, real quick. I have to do a prediction. In episode 9.
I'm so afraid where this is going. Go ahead.
As a nod to her fighting back against the harassment and stuff, there's gonna be one scene of Rose like beating up characters that are clearly look like trolls, and she's just gonna beat the crap out of them.
Is that a real
Or she's
prediction?
gonna have some line about not caring what people think or something like that.
Well, it's a real prediction if it happens. If it doesn't happen, then it was a joke prediction.
Yeah, okay. All right, so we're getting ready to head into our Kylo Ren discussion. We're going to be talking about, him having an apprentice. So I got to ask a question, though. Will Kylo Ren be the only dark side of the Force user in present time? So no flashbacks. Get your visions out of here. I'm not talking Snoke when we get the battle with Snoke and Luke where they're fighting each other and it's like Palpatine and Yoda. I'm just kidding. But I'm not talking about that stuff.
Sounds
I'm talking
fun.
about in episode 9, current time, is Kylo going to be the only dark side Force user? Lacey?
No. I think
Right.
Kerry Russell's character is going to be a dark side user.
Mm.
And I think we're going to see the Knights of Ren, which will also be dark side users.
Yeah, there was a brief pause on my end because I couldn't remember Kerry Russell's name, but I knew exactly where you were going. So
Yeah.
I was right. I was like, will you answer this question? Because I can't remember
Now, will
where
he
I
be
was
a
going.
dark side user the whole movie? That's another question. But
Oh, gosh.
to the start, yes.
6 degrees. Here we go. No,
6 degrees. The question has his name in it.
One step.
Yeah,
Bob.
but it's,
$1, Bob.
Yeah, it's not even about Kylo Ren. It's
$1.
about Kylo Ren's redemption. Somehow, that's where you're really trying to end up. All right.
It's going to happen.
So John, give me the answer to this before I give mine.
It should be yes, but I have a feeling no. But I'm not like, I'm not like set on that. Like I'm just leaning like 51-49. I'm saying no. We'll have a situation where someone else is in the mix.
I just needed to buy time, and I didn't buy myself enough time. I don't know. We just don't know enough about it. I totally get that Kylo Ren and his story with Rey is totally all they're going to do with this movie. That makes so much sense to me. But then at the same time, it also just makes so much sense to throw another wrench in there and to be like, who are these people? Or what is this? Or who is the Resistance really fighting? Or so, I don't know. There's so much they could do. I'm just going to go with what makes the most sense. And I say they're sticking to the story. Kylo Ren's going to be the big bad. He's going to be the Force user of this. I almost gave away my opinion. Actually, it does give away my opinion, doesn't it? If Kylo Ren's the only dark side Force user, then he couldn't possibly have an apprentice, right? Let's right. Move on. We're done. That was Will of the Force. Let's get into a deeper dive discussion this week about will Kylo Ren have an apprentice in Episode 9. John, how did this come to be? How many boots did you have to shake in before you changed the Star Wars war to this discussion? 2 boots? Both of your boots?
I don't wear boots. I was in sandals at the time and I was shaking.
Gotcha.
Sandals.
No, I actually hate flip-flops. If you want to learn something about me, one of my pet peeves, I hate that.
So you don't do slides either? Like soccer flip-flops?
No. And the ones, how about those people that wear the Adidas ones that are like knives on your feet? Like,
all right, you know who doesn't wear flip-flops? The apprentice of Kylo Ren, which we were just about to talk about.
Yeah.
Stay on target.
I'm delaying as I'm trying to gather my thoughts. So yeah, guys, our discussion this week, will Kylo Ren have an apprentice in Episode 9?
Obi-Wan once thought as you do.
So here we go. Kylo Ren, he's not a Sith, as far as we know, entering Episode 9. But that doesn't mean he can't have an apprentice. We all know he is more than willing to be a teacher. Play the clip of him saying, "You need a teacher."
Yeah, you just did.
I can show you the ways of the Force.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. So if we have an expected time jump between Episodes 8 and 9, isn't it possible our new Supreme Leader has taken on an apprentice? So let's talk about that possibility and where that could take the movie and shape the story. And shout out to one of our listeners, Ryan Syme at Ryan Scott 00. What?
Ryan Simi.
Whatever, Lacey. It's funny. He's like, no, John had it right, but it's okay. You can call me Simi.
Okay.
Simi. It's all the Simi to me.
So at Ryan Scott 00 for inspiring the discussion with a question about that. So let's start that discussion. I'm really not sure, so it's gonna kind of be fluid for me and see how this flows. What do you guys think?
I could start.
Kylo Ren have? Yeah, Lacey. Will Kylo Ren have an apprentice in Episode 9?
So I'd like to think that Kylo Ren has had some type of apprentice even before The Force Awakens, because as we know, he took down the temple, and we know that students left with him. So you're telling me not one of those students was like, "Hey man, can you like show me the ropes?" Like, someone had to become his apprentice over time. And then there's, what is it, a 6-year? James, you'd know. Isn't it 6 years from the time that the temple falls to the time of The Force Awakens? It's about 6 years.
It is 6 years but that the novel takes place with Leia.
Bloodline?
What's it called? Bloodline, yeah. So it's 6 years from Bloodline to Force Awakens.
Right. So it's my understanding that he was at the temple when he was about 23. And then when the whole thing went down, he was 23. So then that leaves, 7 years to about 29, 30 to where we meet him in The Force Awakens, which they never say what his age is, but someone dropped around 29, 30. I think Adam Driver did by accident in conversation. So that being said, that leaves about 7 years that you're telling me not one person was like, "Hey, can you train me? Can you show me everything you know?" Like, maybe Snoke told him to take on an apprentice. We don't know. But I think it would be super cool if we go into 9 and his apprentice that he's already had shows back up, and it's Carrie Russell with the other Knights of Ren. So she shows back up, she's his apprentice, and then explains where they've been all this time.
So she shows back up at the seashore. I'm just messing with you. I
just think it would be so cool to see a really badass woman character come in and then maybe even add some negativity into that relationship of like between Kylo and Rey, and then kind of like she hates Rey.
Add negativity between Kylo and Rey?
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty.
He looks at her longingly at the end of The Last Jedi. Let's be honest.
Oh my God.
So my thing. Okay, but hold on, I'm not done yet. So my thing is like she's done with it, John. Rey closes the door. Yep. But I'm saying for a character like Carrie Russell to come in and be his apprentice and be the bad guy, for her to kind of edge him on to keep being the bad guy, being like, "What are you doing? Get it together! Like this isn't what you've taught me." Like playing that role.
You lose me a little bit, I think.
Really?
You know why? Because that weakens him as a powerful figure in the trilogy. Not anymore. He is so engulfed in the dark side now, and he's obsessed with this new power. I think it would be a massive mistake if J.J. Abrams still made him super vulnerable to the point where he needs other people to push him to do things. It's like we saw that in 7, we saw it in 8.
I'm not saying the whole time. I'm just saying a little bit.
Yeah. I just think we need to see Kylo Ren, full bore Kylo Ren, to start episode 9. So it's like JJ's like, here he is. We're not messing around anymore. Like, we need to see him like killing people and like doing crazy stuff.
Right, but we're talking about his apprentice and what the role the apprentice would play. We're not talking about
that takes me to my next point. I'm starting to think he's not going to have an apprentice in episode 9. I think it's too personal of a story for him. We need to see something with him and Leia, him and Rey. If there is an apprentice, then we're doing some kind of fill in the gap thing where it's like, well, he had this happening over here, and the main audience of the film will be like, well, I don't care about that.
Like, when did we see this? Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
You're going to make a book about
it? Story. You're nobody.
You're no one.
Yeah. You're gonna make a book about it that 1% of the fans are gonna read. Cool. No. So I'm leaning towards he's not gonna have an apprentice. That's where I'm at to start the show here.
All right, James.
Yeah, so I kind of laid my cards out. I don't think he's gonna have an apprentice. One thing is that you mentioned back with the Knights of Ren, and there's all this time, and surely he showed someone the ropes. I don't know, man. I know that he's the master of the Knights of Ren, so he's the leader of that group. So you would think like a leader teaches, but I don't know. I think there's something dysfunctional about that group, just the same way as there would be in any sort of like relationship you have with someone where it's like abusive or built on hate or built on anger. So I feel like their relationship of I'm the master is more just like, do this, like just go do it. And if you mess up, I'll kill you. Kind of a thing. It's not like showing them like, oh, maybe you should try it like this, or you would do better if you did it like this. And I still understand that like Palpatine and Vader kind of had a relationship that was him like training him in a like evil, dark way, but I just don't see Kylo being that. Like, especially when we meet him in The Force Awakens, he's supposed to be young and irrational and just kind of like a spoiled brat kind of a character. So to think that any time prior to that he was like training someone and like raising them in the correct ways to do dark side things, it's like, I don't know, man, that just kind of throws me off. I think like for the he was this person that was betrayed by Luke. Hold on. He was this person that was betrayed by Luke, and then since then he's never developed past that. So he's still holding on to that. He's still not going anywhere. He has these aspirations to grow, but he can never seem to get over the fact that he's not Vader, the fact that he's still under Supreme Leader. And then that's what Last Jedi reveals to us, is that he says, forget all that. I don't need to be that anymore. And he breaks his helmet and he says, I'm doing my own thing. I'm killing Snoke. I'm getting my girl. And then when the girl like leaves him, he's like, well, screw her too.
But then at the end of the movie, he doesn't look like that. That's what you guys keep ignoring.
I don't know that I'm ignoring it, just interpreting it different. Like he sees that door shut and he's just like, like so angry, like tears.
No, it's definitely sad. That is a definite sad look. There is no anger in that scene.
In the sense of like, everything that I do fails, so screw it, like kind of a thing. That's how I take it.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I kind of
you're not. You're wanting it to be like everything I do fails.
Not wanting. This is how I interpreted it.
Yeah. So everything I do fails. So keep going after the girl. That's the one thing I need to succeed at.
Well, and let's stay on target here.
Is her.
Let's stay on target here.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to go into like his redemption or anything like that.
Right.
Okay.
We're talking about now. If you want to say him having an angle with there being an apprentice that leading to something, so be it. But we can't be harping on the last scene of The Last Jedi for 30 minutes.
Yes. Okay. So
that's for another time, Lacey.
I'm sorry. I just feel like I'm being misquoted here, and I feel like the scene is being misinterpreted.
Go ahead.
No, I'm good. Go ahead. Keep going.
Well, I'm done. I wrapped it. That's how I felt that he, from the Luke Skywalker time, he has not matured, and he finally just got sick of just being what he was, and it was making him so angry that he turned into the new supreme leader of the First Order. You know, it's not a story of his redemption. But anyway, that all was resulting, or the point was that I don't think he's gotten to a point where he feels confident enough to start taking people under his wing.
You know, and tangibly, like fact-wise and not theory-wise, if you look at stuff from The Force Awakens, especially the end of the movie, not only do you have him like almost saying like, oh, I if I become the teacher, then it proves that I'm the top dog now. So he's like, let me be your teacher. Like, I'll show you the ways of the Force. Like, I'll prove that I know the ways of the Force. I'm entitled. I'm a Skywalker and I deserve this. Then you have Snoke saying, bring Kylo Ren to me. I need to finish his training. Now, if that kid needs to have his training finished, he's probably not being a master to somebody else in terms of the Force. And that's how I see it. So I think those two things there just show to me that I don't think there was a pre-existing apprentice. Now, I think if he does have one, it happens between 8 and 9 if there's what we expect to be a few year time jump. Yeah.
So Lacey, do you think, I'm sorry, I'm still trying to wrap around your whole thing. So you do think that he's going to have an apprentice?
Yep.
But not from 8 to 9, from pre-7 that shows up for 9.
Yeah, I don't think he will take on a new apprentice. I think it's going to be someone that came from a previous time that will show back up again.
Then, so he had an apprentice. That apprentice is missing. No bueno. I don't know what happened to that person.
Knights of Ren were introduced in 7, and we never heard from them again.
For sure. So they're just gone or missing or something like that. So then in the time between 8 and 9, is there any chance that he goes, well, I got to find another one? I mean, Palpatine was like looking for apprentices every time he dropped one on the floor. He's like, oh, well, I'm not picking that up again. I'll just go buy another one.
Yeah, I take Kylo Ren as kind of a loner. I mean, he's not exactly the most friendly person in Star Wars. I mean, the only person he's ever reached out to was Rey, and from what we've seen, at least. And she shut him down. She was like, I'm out, because she knew that they didn't want the same thing. So I can't see him in Episode 9 being like, yes, I've taken on an apprentice. I'm going to change my ways completely from the first 2 movies and bring someone else in, unless they'd already established a relationship with him. The only person we've really seen with him besides Rey in some type of camaraderie scenario is kind of Hux, and I wouldn't even call that a camaraderie scenario. They're rivals.
So I do agree with you that I think Kylo Ren is a little bit of a loner, and I think that's where me and John are coming from, is like, it doesn't make sense that in the past he had an apprentice, because he was just as a loner back then as
But Luke says he takes his students with him.
Yeah, that's the tricky part, and
they wouldn't have included that if it wasn't a thing.
He said,
I agree.
He took his being Luke's students with him, not like Kylo.
Yeah, Han Solo said that.
I know, but he's not saying that Kylo took on students and then he left and took his students with him. Like students
No,
of Kylo
he said
Ren.
he took the remaining students and left.
Yeah, what Han Solo said was one of his students turned on him. He didn't even say Kylo Ren. So some people say, oh, he wasn't talking about,
No, he was.
Yeah, and he's like, took a handful of his students and
left.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So that does leave that. I think that is the biggest thing hovering over episode 9 is people like, was JJ going to involve these people, and are they the
I
Knights
feel
of
like
Ren,
it's
and
such
are
a
the Knights
miss.
of Ren coming back?
And we can come back to this at another episode and really get into this, but like the Knights of Ren are such like a very cool thing that we're like, oh, what are those people? And then nothing.
They're the Boba Fett of this trilogy.
Yeah.
Well, Captain Phasma was the Boba Fett.
I keep asking
trilogy.
Hasbro, when are you going to make Knights of Ren figures? And Steve's like, please stop asking me this.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So, based on the history of like the General Grievous release, you got to think.
Come on, Steve.
Right.
That's maybe an episode 9 thing. And he's like, we need to stop talking about this because we're working on it. I can't talk about it.
The JJ factor is important here because you have the original writer and director who brought in these characters rounding it out. So if it was Trevorrow, I think it's like floodgates are open. But the fact that it's JJ, we're looking at a bookend situation here where he's like, well, I have these toys still to play, not literally, but I have these toys to still play with in this world. I can bring these Knights of Ren back, and I can explain where they were and why they were where they were.
Also, let me answer all the questions I need to answer.
Yeah, that too. Let me show I can be a closer. Yeah. But I think all that stuff still to me points to him not predating having an apprentice, because then JJ would have had that idea in place back then. I can't see JJ going back saying like, well, I can't go forward with the story. Let me go back and try to retcon this and say he had this. I don't see J.J. Abrams doing that. I see him taking us forward beyond episode 8 and working with an open canvas. It's the first time you can look ahead and it's an empty canvas for episode 9. I think that's the direction he should go in and the direction he is going in.
So then my other question is, do you think this question plays into it all the description for Snoke where he says he trained at least one other apprentice?
Yeah. Tricky.
Oh, man, I think that's such
like,
a
could it be an apprentice showing up that's like
thing like,
hey guys,
man, we've talked about this before, but I just think like we latch on to little things like that so tightly, but I don't know. I mentioned a while ago that I think Snoke could show up in the Resistance. Maybe that like we don't see Kylo Ren. Oh no, we'd probably have to see Kylo Ren. I don't know. I was gonna say maybe we see Snoke's other apprentice who's like just under Snoke, and he's another like Force user or something. They have to deal with him, and it's not Kylo directly or something. But I was gonna ask this question. So John, you just got a phone call, and you're blown away right now. You just got a phone call from J.J. Abrams, and he said, "John, I just wanted to tell you this one thing." Hey,
John's picking
John,
up his
it's
phone.
J.J. Yeah, it's J.J. I'm here, and I want to tell you this one thing. In episode 9, Kylo Ren will have an apprentice, and then he hangs up. How do you factor in the apprenticeship? Are you going with, okay, well, it's probably a Knights of the Ren thing, or it's one of the actors that we've already seen cast?
You know what it is? You know what happens?
What?
I know. He did call me. One of the Knights of Ren killed all the other Knights of Ren to prove that they are the strongest. Just like the tryouts that the Joker had in The Dark Knight. And that one became the apprentice.
Oh, snap. That's evil.
And that person is Kerry Russell.
I think she's going to be such a bad character, like a badass character. I have it in like gut feeling.
I really
Eyeliner.
do think that I really do think that if he does angle it that way, it's how do we incorporate the Knights of Ren without cluttering this movie anymore? Oh, I know how. One of them will prove their strength by killing all the others, so then you just focus on that one other person and you still have the Knights of Ren involved.
What if the movie opens with Kerry Russell gets a comm and then like Kylo Ren saying something like, it's time, like you know what to do, and then she
like
just
a 66?
Yeah, she just lights up her lightsaber and then just murders them all,
like kills 6 of them.
Yeah, that'd be badass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Come on, that'd be really cool if he's like, do it, and she's like, okay.
I'm I'm stuck on like the possibility.
James is like,
that,
I hate all of you.
Yeah, that we get so like bent in on one person. Like, could Carrie Russell be a dark side evil user? Well, then, okay, what's our speculation based on the fact that that's a true thing?
James,
like,
that part is
Matt
obviously
Smith
a hypothetical.
Is someone?
Oh yeah, Matt Smith could be something. I'm just like the idea of it being a woman. That's my own preference.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm saying take whoever it is and use that device. I think that'd be an interesting plot device.
Well, no. Yeah, and I wasn't poo-pooing that. I was just while you guys were explaining it, I was just thinking like,
and we'll be good. That's all.
why are we so stuck on it's Carrie Russell? Like it could be Naomi.
We're not.
Or
we're not stuck on it. We're not stuck on anything.
No, but
I'm stuck on it.
We're not
because
talking
I
about how
love her
Naomi
being
could be
guy.
the dark side user.
Because she was seen with Poe and Finn.
Was she?
Yes, she's standing on the hill right next to them in that photo. Spoiler alert.
Allegedly.
It's her.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know that.
The day before, John was posted a picture of them hugging on Instagram. Come on, guys. Put 2 and 2 together.
Anyway, the point being, the idea is there in my brain. I'm not saying it has to be Carrie Russell. I just came up with
I just like the idea of it being a woman, and that's the woman that I have because Phasma's gone.
So, James, what do you think of that idea?
No, that idea is fine with me. Yeah.
Oh, good. No, clone Vader and get Super Shredder Vader. That's way cooler.
I didn't say all that. You're putting words in my mouth. So here's the thing: is I'm listening to your story and I go, yeah, that makes sense. And then I started thinking about how it just we always keep going back to the Carrie Russell thing. So that's where my brain was going.
I'm driving this conversation.
Yeah, that's where my brain was going. And then you're like, so what do you feel about that? And I'm like, I don't know. I moved on past that mentally a couple seconds ago. It's a good story, like, and that makes a lot of sense. It still comes back to my like original thing when we were doing Will of the Force, though. Like sometimes it feels a little weird that there's going to be like a third party in this somehow. Like it feels like what we really need to wrap up is how the Resistance is going to beat the First Order, and how is Rey going to either defeat or redeem Kylo, which helps ultimately defeat the First Order along with the Resistance, and how the war effort and the politics are going on. So where does
how's the Force going to
like,
balance?
Other third-party person come into play here? Because then she's like, well, I got to defeat Kylo, but now I also have to defeat this other dark side user, and what's their agenda, and what is that all setting up? You know what I mean? It just, whole story kind of seems weird to me.
The overlaying aspect of him having an apprentice is pretty much would be his only out for the possibility of redemption.
Right, because if he goes to, the Apprentice goes to attack Rey, you know Kylo's going to defend Rey.
Exactly, and that would be the only way that could happen. So if we start seeing Kylo Ren with an Apprentice in 9, then all of a sudden it's like, well, maybe this will happen. But if we don't...
And then Super Hux comes in, and he's like, I've been here the whole time.
Yeah. But if we don't...
James looks so disappointed in this conversation.
But again, if he doesn't take on an apprentice in 9, I think it's just proof in the pudding that he's not going to be redeemed and he will die, as I've been projecting.
Right, there has to be some other person that comes into play to either force his hand or something.
Yeah, I was actually thinking it kind of just reminded me of Thor Ragnarok. Like a character comes in and now is like against what would be the good guy and the bad guy, but now the good guy and the bad guy have to team up to take down this other person that there's some way connected to move the story along or something like that. That's how Kylo would need to team up with Rey again to, I don't know, it's such a, I don't know. If they do it,
or not a team up,
fine,
it could be he he starts fighting the person so Rey can get away.
They did it with Palpatine in 6, and we saw nothing of Palpatine in the first 2 movies, so it's possible. Especially if they make this movie 3 hours long, which I think they will.
I watched.
We also see Yoda come to defense of Anakin.
Palpatine's coming back, so
just shut up.
It's reliable because there's a lot of plays on the video, John.
I just love that James goes, no apprentice, but Palpatine's coming back.
Yeah. Yes. I saw the video. It was confirmed. by Lucasfilm. All right.
I wish we had as many plays as that person.
Oh my gosh.
Oh boy. So yeah, I mean,
no stones thrown.
ultimately, like I don't think he's going to have an apprentice, but if he does, I think the scenario plays out where they return the Knights of Ren in a way that one of them killed the rest and took the right hand of Kylo Ren as his apprentice.
All right. Bold scenario. You guys ready for this?
Thank you for
That was my bold
Thank you for
scenario.
not saying hot take.
I'm giving you another bold scenario.
Yes.
I can see James trying not to say it.
No,
You
actually,
just
I
said it,
wasn't.
Lacey.
I know.
Yeah. Nickel in
45.
the swear jar, Lacey. All right.
Yeah.
My bold scenario is bolder than yours, and I already know both of you are going to say no way, right?
Is it as big as the boulder in Indiana Jones?
It's bolder.
It's
bigger
more
than that boulder?
more boulder.
All right, here it is. Here it is. Right here. All right, look. Kylo Ren dies in the first half of the movie. Middle of the movie, he's dead, and he's dead to the new apprentice. New apprentice comes in, kills him, and that is the thing that sets up how big of a threat that new villain or that new person is.
No. I know you're just kidding, obviously, but
Kylo Ren is literally one of the best things that's come out of the sequel trilogy. There's no way they're killing him in the first half.
I feel like by James saying that he's been looking for a Star Wars war so bad, he came up with that to try to like mock my possible.
There's no way. There's no way. Adam Driver
All right.
will be up for an Oscar for this
revise
last movie.
it. I'll
You
revise
watch.
If
The
anyone's killing
apprentice
Kylo
comes
Ren, it's
in-
Rey. You're crazy if you think otherwise.
And I don't think she'll be able to do it.
Oh, I want to ask you, Lacey.
That's why he's gonna do it.
She's too good.
Somebody kills Kylo Ren. He is killed. Is it Rey?
By himself.
Or can it be
No.
anybody else?
It won't be her. She's too good.
Okay.
If
So
she kills him, it
So
takes
J.J.
away
Abrams
her
just
innocence.
called you and said Kylo Ren will be killed at the hand of somebody. And you say it's anybody else but Rey.
Yes, or his own.
Well, that's a good point. I didn't think about
Why does it take
could be
away
his
her
own,
innocence though?
technically.
She killed people already.
Because she consciously made the decision in The Last Jedi to spare him because she thought the Force would eventually work itself out. You can't then take away that thought and have her murder someone in the last movie. The only way she would do it is if he asked her to, or, you know what I mean? Like something like that. Like she's not going to do it.
Let's not act like she hasn't killed people though. She's
I'm
mowed
not
people down.
I'm not acting like she hasn't killed people. She will kill people, and she'll probably kill
Not
people in
Mr.
this
Rogers
movie.
here.
No. I'm saying she won't kill him. She has a connection with him. She's not going to kill him. Unless
Well,
he
because
asks her to.
He's gonna hit the button and he's gonna do it.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't see Rey killing him.
Oh, good. Okay.
All right.
So
So the
final
apprentice
verdicts
comes
here,
in and within
All right,
5
James.
minutes of the movie kills Kylo Ren.
James takes nothing seriously anymore. This is what's happening now.
You
Shenanigans.
just had a speech about how we shouldn't take Star Wars seriously. It's just a movie. Just goes on a rant about that.
I said I get too obsessed, and now I am. Now I'm in
All
the
right.
heat of it right now.
Oh my
All right,
gosh.
so final dealios here. Do you think he will have an apprentice, and if so, how will it happen? Final couple sentences, real quick.
Yes, and it will be one of the Masters of Ren, or Knights of Ren, that will come back from before Force Awakens.
So you're saying he had the apprentice before?
Yes.
Okay.
Prior.
James?
100% he will have an apprentice. It'll be Snoke, brought back to life with the Force. He'll be a Force ghost. He will be his apprentice and a Knight of Ren and Han Solo all mixed in one, kind of like the Falcon is with L3. They were setting that up with Solo. So that's exactly what's going to happen.
Do you guys remember when the rumor was going around that the ring that Snoke was wearing was a ring that like sucked in souls and like life energies? Do you remember that?
I did not. I bet that was on
I don't know
YouTube,
that I
too.
picked up on that one.
Oh my god, that was before The Force Awakens. That book came out and it leaked the visual dictionary, and Snoke had this like black ring on, and someone was like, it could be this stone that like sucks in life energies.
Honestly, you know what sucks? Some of these YouTube channels, whatever you want to call them, are going to make Star Wars YouTube taboo just in time for us to go live with our videos. People are going to be like, screw Star Wars YouTube. Damn it.
Yeah. Nothing good
right,
comes from their videos.
That was crazy. And it said like it had the power to like possess people. And it was saying that Kylo was going to get possessed in Last Jedi and like fight people possessed as Snoke.
Yeah, your story isn't lining up. You said this was before Force Awakens, but now I'm thinking it was Last Jedi. Now you're saying it's Last Jedi.
No, I'm saying the fake made up thing.
She's talking about the fake made up
My theory was before Force Awakens. He had him and the Knights of Ren went on missions together. He had an apprentice with the Knights of Ren. That is my theory.
Oh, yeah, gotcha.
And I don't think he's going to have an apprentice. I think there's too much for Kylo Ren to do on a personal level with Leia, with Rey, his mission as Supreme Leader. Obviously something with Hux. Hopefully JJ makes Hux evil again and not doofy. Rian Johnson's one big mistake, I think.
Red hat, white letters make Hux evil again.
Yeah, okay. Let's not go there. If he did, like I said,
you can't say if. You can only say one thing, John. So you don't think he's going to have an apprentice?
I can say whatever I want. I don't work for Disney.
The discussion is, will he or won't he? You can't say he's not going to, but will he or won't he?
I don't think he will.
Okay, great. James.
He will if JJ writes it in the story. That's John's answer. I used to be
if it
that
happens
person.
That way,
remember
I said it though. Remember I said.
John, we heard you. Don't worry.
You guys heard me out there. Don't listen to these two. You heard me.
Yeah, I was joking before. My final answer is I would say no. Yeah, no.
Okay, cool.
No
right.
apprentice.
Now, guys, let us know what you think. It's not really that heated of a topic. We had fun with it. It's not like other topics around this character that get heated. It's like saying Voldemort at this point with that thing.
Whoa, who will not be named, please.
Right. Neither will that hashtag. So let us know what you guys think. Will Kylo Ren have an apprentice in Episode 9? Will he not? If he does, what type of situation would it be? Hit us up on Twitter at RBATSWNN. Shoot us an email, resistancebroadcast@gmail.com. Comment on the YouTube videos or wherever you want to reach us. Let us know what you guys think because we love hearing from you guys. And we hope you enjoyed the discussion. And now, speaking of hearing from you guys, it is time to hear from you guys. And we picked the best of the best in this week's Resistance transmissions. And Lacey, as always, has read 0 of these.
I haven't. I have it down at the bottom. I haven't even scrolled yet.
I wanted to get a little Casa de Lacey this week, and so I did not read these either.
Oh, nice. It's a good experience, James. Just going in fresh.
So
I say that about every episode. Just going in fresh.
Going fresh.
It's looser now.
Lacey, take it away. What happened this week in Resistance transmissions? What'd they say this week?
All right, guys. The time is now.
Times is
for Resistance transmissions. Okay, so the situation this week is most evil leaders are insecure. Let's assume Palpatine was too. Pretend you're a close confidant, friend, or loyalist to Palpatine. What do you say when he asks you what you think of his new grotesque appearance after his encounter with Mace Windu? All right.
So we've seen these guys. These are the two guys on the side with the hats, and they're wearing the purple. And
no, it's when he looks all wrinkly, right?
Yeah.
He's been all electrocuted now. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. This is Return of the Jedi.
It's literally a hypothetical, like anybody.
Okay.
I know.
So the first one is add VM drivers. It should be Adam Drivers, but the second A is a V. I had a dream last night that I met Adam Driver. It was pretty awesome.
It's an upside down A.
And they said, well, it's definitely intimidating. Not in a bad way. Please don't electrocute me. All right. Next is going down to the next page. Cashy Boy at Cashel Galadio is, I'm going to be blunt with you. It's it's not good. These are like super realistic of like what people would say. All right, next is...
that reminds me of the Tommy Boy where he's like, oh, my face kind of hurts, like right through here. Like not so much here or here. Like Palpatine being like, man, my face feels weird, like right in this area.
Right. Yeah.
And they're like, I don't see anything. No, it looks totally normal to me. By the way, these are the Palpatine advisors. You've seen this photo. Oh, it's not
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Yeah. They look like they're getting ready to drop the hottest mixtape on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
All right. Next is Dark Wing Zero ZXT at Wing Zero ZXT. And he said, "You look amazing, my lord." Like freshly folded bath towels.
Ugh.
What?
That makes sense, though, because if you look at his forehead, it looks like stacked towels in a closet.
Okay, next is...
Like a bloodhound.
I think that was my favorite one. I'm not sure, though.
Next is Joshua...
Yeah, like a bloodhound, yeah.
Boulard, as in
People...
spooky Twitter.
I hate being a grumpy guy. I'm just so over the Halloween Twitter names.
Stop.
That's why mine now is obligatory spooky name, Baney.
Yeah. I thought of
Or
one.
Booney.
I was like...
What did I say?
There's
I don't know.
nothing.
Oh, name Aney. Yeah. Obligatory spooky
Yeah.
name Aney. That's what it is.
Yeah.
At Darth Glucosa. And he said... Glucosa.
Yeah.
And he said, "Nah, you look distinguished. It gives you character. What do you mean a raisin? You're not a raisin, or you're just a raisin the level of security and prosperity for your empire."
For your new empire.
Your new empire.
Your new empire. This is Anakin talking to him.
That's what you're doing. Now show me that smile again. Oh,
They're growing pains.
show me that smile again. Show me that smile.
Somebody needs to put the like smile app on Palpatine, so he's like shiny teeth.
I want to ask the Resistance right now, what percentage of you guys out there know what we're talking about when we say growing pains? I wonder how old our audience is.
Alan Thicke.
Yeah, rest in peace, Alan Thicke.
Yeah. And that crazy
he
guy that has
died.
Subway for his birthday. What's his
crazy.
name?
Leonardo
The main guy?
DiCaprio.
For his birthday?
No, the heartthrob on that show like grew up to be like super
Leonardo
religious.
DiCaprio.
No, not Leo, the other guy.
Leonardo
And he had Kirk Cameron, and he got Subway subs for his birthday to split with his office. It was so funny. Go Google it. It's funny. Anyway. Next is Mike Lovins at Mike Lovins. Kind of like
great
Mick
job,
Lovins.
Mike.
I like that. Mike Lovins. How old are you, Mike Lovins?
That guy's name is definitely
old
like
enough to party.
Jeff, or like Dave.
He says, "My lord, perhaps it's time to consider wearing Sith robes for all occasions and a hood. Yes, most definitely a hood." Next is You're a Meg Monster. You're a Meg Monster at the one Megan _cot. And they say, "Your new Olay aging cream is doing wonders for your skin. Don't look a day under 150.
And you know what his response to that was? Good.
All right, guys, that's it for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you want to be a part of Resistance Transmissions, just keep an eye out on Wednesday or Thursday. John will put out a wacky situation for you to send in your witty humor. But yeah, back to you, John.
All right. Did they ever figure out how old? Did they ever say canon-wise how old Palpatine was? He was like well over 100.
Well, supposedly he's not dead, so he's probably way old now.
Yeah, what? Wait, hold up. You're saying he was like over 100 at the time of the original trilogy?
Yeah.
But he's a human, isn't he? No?
Like, yeah, but I mean...
Space
look at,
human.
yeah, there's some old humans. Betty White's like 96.
Yeah, but are you saying that he's like 70 in the prequel trilogy?
Rose from the Titanic was 101.
Was that the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio? Show me that smile.
There you go. Full circle. And on that note, guys, thank you so much for listening. We hope you had a good time. We hope you enjoyed our discussion. Will of the Force And thank you for all who participated in Resistance Transmissions. If you didn't make it on the show, just send better tweets next time. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding.
Wow.
I just try to...
It's Owen Wilson.
Wow. Send a better tweet, Count Chocula.
Where's the party at?
Yeah. All right. So make sure you guys are subscribed to us on YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, and Spotify now, however you like to listen to the show, so you know when the new episodes post. Head to StarWarsNewsNet.com for your latest news, reviews, editorials, information, and more. Go to tpublic.com/user/Resistance Broadcast and pick up some merch if you'd like. We have some cool designs on there. And you guys can find us on our social media platforms. Me personally, I'm John Hoey. You can find me at Johnny Hoey on Twitter and writing and editing over at StarWarsNewsNet.com. James Bainey, where can they reach you?
Well, you can reach me right now on Twitter while I'm on my phone. I'm trying to find an image of Palpatine that I could use for the Smile app. I've already re-downloaded it from when it was popular about
I mean, there's photos of him smiling.
Ago. Yeah, but this is like with like strong teeth.
I thought there's the one where he's in makeup and he's smiling.
Oh, with the sunglasses?
No, that's
people
where he's wearing
use
sunglasses.
Yeah, people use it for memes and stuff.
I like that. Yeah.
Well, while James is doing that, people can find me on Twitter at Lacey Gillerin, where I'll be talking about Kylo Ren and Star Wars and probably the Golden Girls because, guys, I'm late to this party. I discovered it like 2 days ago, and I can't stop watching it, and the theme song's been stuck in my head nonstop for about 72 hours.
How does that theme song go? Is it Show Me That Smile?
No,
Thank
it's
you for being a friend.
Yeah. Back again.
Yeah,
and if you had a party, invited everyone you knew. That
and
one.
If you're still listening in to the podcast.
James.
Oh my God.
What is happening right now?
4 out of 5 Sith Lords agree that Trident gum
Thank you
keeps
for
cavities
being
away.
a friend.
Sensodyne is the toothpaste of choice among Sith Lords.
Sithodyne.
Sithodyne.
All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. We hope you don't get these show themes stuck in your head. If you don't, you will enjoy your weekend, and we hope you do. And then we will catch up with you guys on Monday morning with another episode of the Resistance Broadcast. We'll see you around, kids.